Hello YouTube. All right guys, so really awesome. We just got back from our trip to Kentucky, Bowling Green, where we took you guys to the Corvette Museum with us. And when I came home, I had just a ton of freaking packages at the garage here. So that's pretty cool. Looks like we got everything we need to finish our turbo build. Been waiting on some of this stuff for 3 weeks, but hey, it is what it is. Anyway, we got all the stuff that we ordered. The only thing that we're still short on is the injectors, the fuel injectors. And I'm still trying to debate if I want to save up and buy a set of aftermarket injectors, or if I want to decap another set or two of stock injectors and send those to Eric Durd to have, have him flow test them. So I just thought I would show you some of the stuff that came in. We got 2 rolls of the titanium header wrap. Now this is generic. This is a generic stuff, but I mean, honestly, it looks pretty good. I don't know if the camera's showing you. I think I already opened this other roll. Yeah, it comes with the, your little metal, I'm not sure what these are called, but the metal things to hold them down around the edges. We'll come with 2 packages of those, like 20 of those. This was a really good deal, guys. I got 2 50-foot rolls of 2-inch wide header wrap, plus 20 of the tie downs, or whatever you guys call them, for $24 shipped. Yeah, this package is kind of open. You can see. I mean, it looks like nice shit. We'll see how it holds up, right? We also got this. This is our 3.75 inch to 3-inch adapter for our throttle body. And you may remember I had ordered this guy, which did the same thing, but it was an elbow. And when I ordered this guy, I did not take into account the fact that my accessory stuck out too far. So this pretty much ran right into the top of my, I think my idler pulley is what it was hitting. And I could have turned it towards the driver's side and it would have worked, but unfortunately that's not going to work with our intercooler setup. It would have had to turn to the, that was the passenger side. It would have had to turn to the driver's side, and if you turn to the driver's side, it smashed right into the alternator. So we'll throw this in our pile of stuff for, maybe another project sometime. Now I want to say, if you're using the car style accessories, like the LS1 style accessories, that might work with them because they're not spaced out quite as far. So anyhow, we reordered this, and this guy actually ended up only costing us about $7 shipped. It did not come with the clamps though. I had to order this 3.75 inch band clamp, and that was another, I think, $5. And then this 3-inch clamp here actually came from our piping kit, which also arrived while we were gone on our anniversary trip. So we got this is 3-inch piping. Comes with all different angles, everything. Whole bag of clamps. Comes with 4. Oh, 5, 6. Okay. Came with 6 straight fittings and 2 of these elbow fittings, and this whole kit was $78 shipped. So that was a hell of a price on that. Now, I've already started filming the drain video, so if you're watching the drain video and you hear me complaining about how I haven't got my intercooler piping or any of that yet, that's because I started filming it first, then I got rained out. So I haven't finished the drain video yet. This video may actually come out before the drain video, because I'm a little more excited about trying to run some piping and stuff than I am about crawling under the car and drilling holes in my oil pan and shit. So this one might come out first. You guys can see, our pipes that we welded are already starting to rust. Again, we built this whole thing out of junk. Even this piece of flex right here actually came off of a junk motor that John's son had found at work, where he works at. So he cut it off of some scrap and brought it home. He's like, hey, didn't you guys say you needed some flex? So that's how we got that. But anyway, the rust is already starting to set up. Of course, it rained for 3 days down here, so I'm not sure how we're going to handle that. What we might do is, once we get everything done, we might take it all off, sand it, and maybe coat it with some high temp exhaust paint, you know, that you bake on. Now, my cousin's got an oven at his house that he actually uses for powder coating and stuff, but while the manifolds will probably fit in, I don't think our crossover pipe is going to fit in that oven, so we'll just kind of cross that bridge when we come to it. But for right now, we're going to get this old intake out of the way and see what we can do about getting our little coupler on here. I don't know if I showed this to you guys in a previous video, but this is our mass airflow sensor harness, and when I was driving it up to John's house, it actually went down and laid on this and was touching and melted the wiring. Now, it was initially running fine through these open manifolds, but I think what happened is when this melted through, now I've got my mass airflow sensor disabled right now, so I don't think it was the mass airflow readings that made it start running like crap. But you know, on this vehicle, the mass airflow sensor also has the IET sensor built in, so I'm thinking that that may have been what happened, is it melted through that IET wire, and that's why it started running like really crappy about the time I got to John's house. So we're gonna have to straighten that out, and you know, I'm pretty sure we're just going to run this in speed density. We're probably going to get rid of the mass airflow. So I think what we might do is get a IET sensor, you know, just a standalone sensor, and you know, cut this plug off back here. We'll just cut it off back here where it's melted, and patch in just the wires for the standalone IET sensor. Oh no, Robert, flip those clamps over. You don't want to be able to see the clamps. You don't want to see the bolts. That looks trashy. Yeah, if you're one of those guys, just know that I put them at the top for convenience. I'm more worried about convenience than looks at this point, because I don't know how many times I'm going to have to tighten them or take them off or put them back together. But anyway, that guy seems to fit on there pretty well. Well, we got our turbo on here for mock-up. Just got a couple bolts holding it in, no gaskets or anything. You can see where our wastegate's going to go right here. The reason we moved the turbo so far away from the engine was because eventually I'm wanting to run a vintage air conditioning setup. And with their LS bracket, it puts the AC compressor right here. Okay? Well, most of the kits, you know, with the manifold, the log style manifold you buy, have the turbo like right here. All right, which is awesome for saving space. And if you know, if you're in a late model truck setup where you've still got the AC compressor mounted down there, works out great. But on our setup, that wouldn't work because the AC compressor is going to be up here. It would have hit the turbo. So we chose to extend everything out over here. The problem we're having now is the standard little cheapy kits that you buy, you know, that come with the feed. Most of these feed lines are only 36 inches. I'm trying to have it wrap over and just tie into where the OEM oil pressure sensor was hooked up, you know, at the back of the top of the engine, but I don't know if it's going to reach. So I don't know, this could get ugly unless you know, maybe I can have like a little short you know, about a piece about this long of pipe that's like 1/8 in NPT, male on one end and female on the other end, where it would extend it out just enough for this to reach. Now, that being said, you know, my exhaust is going to come out here and go down there. So I don't really like that this feed line is going to be directly above the exhaust, but we're probably going to wrap the exhaust pipe too, so I don't think that matters. Plus this feed line that I've got, I mean, it's insulated and steel braided, so hopefully everything will be okay. On the inlet side, what we have here is the K&N filter that came with the STS kit. And it also has a heat shield that, you know, it's not really going to do anything, but we may use it just for looks. Let me get that. Here's the heat shield, and you know, you can see, I mean, that'd be pretty cool. We'll put that there and cover it up. Now I'm going to clean this filter and re-oil it and everything before we put it on, but I don't want to run without a filter, so this is the filter we're going to be using since it came with the kit, and it's a K&N, so you know, it should clean up and be able to reuse it fine. But I don't like the, you know, I don't like the look of the blue there, obviously. As I've said 100 times, I think the blue, you start putting blue stuff in here, it just looks ricey. So I think we will run the heat shield over the top of it just to give a cleaner look. And we'll either polish that heat shield, or I'll probably paint it black, as you guys know how I like subdued look. And worst case scenario, I may paint the blue rim of this with some black bed liner too, just to get rid of that, because, you know, this is a budget build, but I don't want it to look like a budget build. So anyway, the original plan was I was going to run a piece of pipe down there and then mount this filter down there somewhere where that rust hole is. I figure that's fresh air, right? But we're not going to do that now. I think I just want to mount it straight to the end of the turbo here. So I'm going to need to take my little aftermarket overflow tank here and, you know, move it over closer to the radiator. Probably, I don't know. I hope that'll fit. Even if if I just move it over a couple inches, this filter will fit in there real nice. After giving it the old stare at it and think about it test, I decided that this overflow tank needs to not only come over this way, but it needed to go up about an inch. And the reason for that is, you can see where I cut for my intercooler piping. The reason for that is the intercooler piping has to come in right here. So I moved it, you know, it's about an inch higher than it was, and it's also over a little bit. So hopefully that'll be able to clear the intercooler piping that'll be coming in right underneath it and looping up into here. That is going to give us about an inch of clearance there for our filter. And you know, if we decide to run the heat shield over the top of it, just for looks, that should give us room for that too. This is quickly turning into one of those videos where I start a bunch of stuff, but I don't get to finish anything. I keep running into roadblocks, so I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. First off, I wanted to also mount the wastegate. The reason I wanted to mount the wastegate is because I want to put the fan shroud back on temporarily to see if I need to clearance it for any of the turbo pipings or for the wastegate itself, because we're wanting to run our stock fan shroud to kind of hide stuff, make it look nice and neat. And the problem that I have is the wastegate flange that we welded on is not threaded, and my wastegate only came with these. So what I need to do is I need to get a couple more of these bolts and get nuts to put on the back side of them to hold the wastegate. Also, we made our brackets a couple videos ago to hold our intercooler, but if you remember in our intercooler video, the bolts that came with the intercooler are too long. Like once you thread them through the brackets here, you know, they lack about that much of going all the way into the intercooler. So we also need to get 4 of these that are about a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch shorter. I needed a piece of metal to go between these brackets, and then we were going to mount an L to hold the top of the intercooler to keep it from flopping against the radiator. Well, I've decided I do not want to use this piece of metal because it's going to rust. I think this is off of a bed frame is what this came off of. So in addition to the bolts and nuts we need to buy, I also need to buy just a strip of aluminum. I thought I had some here in the shop. Apparently I don't. And the funny thing is, I've probably got all this stuff in my garage, but screw it, man. Lowe's is 5 minutes down the road, and it's just, honestly, it's faster to go down there and just grab the stuff that I know I need than to dig through my garage and try to find it. You guys have seen my garage. It's a real clusterfuck. So anyway, we're gonna get that done.
Where the fuck are you going?
I am going to Lowe's to pick up some bullshit for the turbo build. Just some nuts, bolts, odds, ends. You want to go?
I was on my way to your house.
Oh, shit, dude. Oh, damn. Is that Adam or Sarah in the van?
That's Adam, Chase, and Sean.
Oh, okay. Well, that explains.
For some reason, I think they're going to pick up some poon in that mom van. I don't know.
Yeah, Adam picking up poon?
No.
Anyway, do you want to ride with me?
Nah.
Are you sure?
Nah.
Here's what happened, man. I went to mount the intercooler, and then remembered I needed shorter bolts and a piece of flat aluminum to make an upper bracket with. So then I was like, okay, so I'll skip that for now. And then I went to mount the feed line for the turbo. It's about that much too freaking short. So I'm gonna go try to find like a piece of tube or something that's threaded for 1/8 NPT, just to space it out a little.
Probably have better luck at Advanced Auto Parts.
You think?
Yeah, because they carry various different lengths of flared end.
Oh, no. This needs to be NPT, 1/8 NPT threaded.
NPT?
The problem is like the sensor port is on the driver's side of the engine. Well, I need a tube just to get it over, like to come out of it, over to where it can go over to the passenger side a little bit. I mean, I'm literally like this far from hitting it, man. This far. And then so I need, what I need it to be is like a male thread to screw into a T. A male thread on one end and a female thread on the other end to screw my fitting into that the oil line then screws into.
Gotcha. So essentially what you're saying is you need one of these and one of these and make it go like that.
Pretty much.
Over and over until the oil squirts back into the engine.
Yeah, exactly.
And just keep slamming the oil
just
back.
Slam it in there.
I'll see you at your house.
All right. Found our 8 by 1.25 by 30 inch long bolts and lock washers, but as is usually the case when I need something, it's not here. Looks like we might have to get some non-stainless steel nuts to go on these for now, and I'll just check back later and replace them. Okay, we got our nuts, bolts, we got our strip of aluminum. The nuts and bolts weren't exactly what we came for, but you know, they're going to work for now. And now I'm looking for a 3.5 inch hole saw blade to cut holes for the intercooler piping into the radiator support. Guy just found this for me. It is a bimetal 3.5 inch hole saw bit, and it even shows right there on the picture, you know, a piece of steel. It's supposed to be able to cut through steel, so we're going to try to use this to cut the holes in our radiator support for the intercooler piping. Got dark on us. We were able to get the intercooler mounted though, so that's all good. That's really the only thing we got finished today. Now unfortunately I have to go back to work tomorrow. That kind of sucks because I don't want to do it. I'd rather stay here and try to get some more done on the truck, but I am going to try to work on it some more tomorrow. I'm not sure when I'm going to have another video out, hopefully by the end of the week. If I don't get another one out by the end of the week, just stay tuned for the weekend. I'll try to get it then. If you like this project and you want to see how it turns out, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, click the like button and share the video, you know. Help me grow a little bit, guys. But anyway, I'm going to go in here, take a shower, get ready to go to that other job in the morning. So stay tuned, wait for updates, and I'll see you next time on Bad Luck Garage.